Hello, and welcome to an all new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I am so happy to be here today. And I'm joined by the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented, the almost 1 year older Shannon Ford Jefferson. Tomorrow is your birthday.
Yeah,
And are you excited?
I am. I probably don't look like it, because my nap lasted a little longer than I was supposed to. I guess that's a perk of getting older.
Yeah, how we gonna celebrate? We turning up?
I'm being my bed.
Oh, whatever. Wait a minute. Alone or? See, I just kind of brushed it off, but you did. That could mean a lot of things.
Um, a good girl never tells.
Thank God.
Teddy,
Thank
back
God you're
off.
not. Thank God you're not good.
You did you
So
say thank God I'm not good?
yeah. So that means you can share with the class.
The disrespect. I am a lady, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You are a lady. You are in fact a lady. But you've changed states, so you're in a. So I don't know. Maybe that you left the lady in Florida.
I am no longer. Excuse me, my dog is probably missing this. Teddy Pendergrass, be quiet. Clearly. I left the warmth, but I'm still a lady.
You still a lady? You still got that?
Ye- Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll let you have that since it's the day before your birthday.
What do you mean you let me have that?
I don't know. Sometimes look, and you know what? We have the perfect guest on to talk about some of these things,
Yeah,
and
get your boy right now, Maisha, because he
you
about to
know,
get the day before my birthday, he about to get whooped.
because there's a
Okay?
couple of things that I've mentioned that y'all said I was crazy, but I have a feeling that Maisha, our guest, she's gonna probably she's gonna agree with me on some of these things. So I
Okay.
feel it though, because we're me and her like this, right? So I think we see things very similarly. So, but we'll
Okay.
get. But I want to take a moment to give a shout out to Ryan Perez. Today is his birthday,
Yeah.
so he's
Fellow Sagittarius.
yeah, and mine's coming up too, December 20th, y'all. So
Um,
y'all have time to buy me a gift. You probably can't get it on Wish though. That I think it won't get there. It won't get there. So by the
man,
time,
ain't nobody buying you no gifts. You just so disrespectful today.
why not?
You gonna get what you deserve. You gonna get a lump of coal
A lump of coal, whatever, man, whatever.
with all
Uh,
this disrespect. You don't treat ladies like that.
huh. No comment. Oh man. All right. So as we are, I think he's calling me. So talking about disrespectful.
Jesus is probably calling you,
Call
you
me
heathen.
during the show. How dare they call me during a show, right?
You heathen. You better answer that call. Jesus is trying to get your
Is
attention.
Jesus? Is Jesus? He's telling what he's telling me like way to go. You know, that's what he's saying. He's on my side. But all right.
Okay.
So let's introduce our wonderful guest who's been on the show several times, and
Hmm.
you know this person who I was so fortunate enough to come across when I was trying to put together a sex magic show. Uh, Something I had no idea about. Still, there's so much more I can learn about that topic as well. And I was just, it's one of those things where, you get fortunate. I came across this young lady, and she's been on the show several times, and I've become a quite a fan of her work. Um, She's a sensual energy alchemist, which is cool as heck. Like, please tell me you got like a business card with that on it or something like that. I know you must. I mean, man, this is just cool as heck. I love that. And you're a coach. You do so much, and I have to say that your work is you're very inspiring. I love the way that you have a great, I would say, bedside manner, if that's a good way to put it. Like I really like the way that you give information, and it's well, I don't want to put words into your mouth, so we'll let you say how you feel about certain things and all that kind of stuff. But it is an honor to have you here, and and
Indeed.
let's see in the chat. I want to give a shout out to Maya who's in the chat. Danny Redwine, what's up, Sag, and the birthday boy Ryan. Yes. All right. So
Hey, Jamie.
welcome to the
Happy
show,
birthday, Red Pie.
welcome back to the show, Maisha.
Thank you. First, happy birthday to Ryan. Happy early birthday to Shannon. And thank you,
Thank
Contention,
you.
for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we really should do this like on a regular basis because like there's so much information that you impart with us, and it's just always a joy to talk to you. Now, one thing I don't know that we talked about this before, and it's a good start. You know, this may be some people's first time hearing from you. Is it seems like this kind of work is really seems to be a calling for you. How did you realize that this was what you should be doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, I think my divorce did
Mm.
that. I was always interested in sex and tantra and yoga and meditation and all of these other things. That's always been part of my life somewhere somehow. But I was definitely still not. I didn't think I could speak about that on any type of like public platform. Definitely when I was with other women, we would talk about it. I always seemed to be the one they would ask me questions, ask me questions. And it wasn't until 2015. I'd left my marriage in 2011 and was just trying to unravel that choice to get married to begin with, and then that choice to marry that particular person, and looking at other people and seeing the choices that they made and wondering what was really happening here. And I went from personal training, which is kind of like therapy in a way, and talking to women about their bodies and sex and relationships, to really wanting to focus more on spirituality and sex, and it just kind of morphed from there.
Okay. Was there any hesitation at all? Because, sex is one of those things. It's like, we all, well, most of us all do it, but, people are kind of squeamish about talking about it, right? People don't want to, I mean, some people are very open. A lot of people are not. So was there any hesitancy at all to get into that?
Absolutely. I'm the eldest of three. I grew up in the Nation of Islam.
Oh,
I
wow.
was friends with both my parents on Facebook and my siblings and other family members. And it's funny, I just went back to my YouTube page, and which I've now started to like do stuff with, and saw the first video I posted on YouTube, and it was from me going live on my business page, because I knew if I went live on my business page, I was technically putting myself out there, but nobody was watching because the way the algorithms work on Facebook business pages. And this was in like 2017. It's like nobody, like one person popped on. So for me to start going live on my personal page and posting things on my personal page, that took some time. I would like eke things out slowly, like really nicely, and see what happened. Yeah, there was a great deal of fear in
Mm,
doing.
I can definitely imagine. Um, when One interesting thing too is, and you said this came after your divorce. Had you started dating yet before you got started?
No, I was just sexing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, huge difference. Yeah,
Mm.
I was just out
Huge.
there. Yeah, I was just out there running amok, fucking in the streets, but I was not was not dating.
Oh, okay. It's like a sexual detox or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know,
Fascinating.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Interesting.
I was giving myself space to get that out of out of my system. I got married at 23.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Pretty.
So when everybody was doing all their fun activities in the 20s, I was going to PTA meetings with my stepdaughter and parent teacher conferences and changing diapers of one, two, three kids and then a fourth that came along in my early 30s.
Mhm.
So I didn't have a chance to be out there like, hey.
You know,
Um,
for a lack of a better term, and don't no one take offense to what I'm about to say. And I mean this for men as well. They say that we all at some point are going to have like a whole phase, right?
yeah,
Where we experiment and do stuff. And some people get married young, so they miss their whole phase.
yeah.
And then at some point, it's gonna, you're gonna definitely go through that. Most people, right? Except for Shannon, right? Wink, wink.
You so
Uh,
right.
and
I'm a
so,
lady.
like, I think for most of us, that's just part of the process, right? Of living is having that period where you do a lot of experimentation and stuff. And it seems like people who miss that, it seems like at some point it's going to come back around. So I often wonder, because a lot of guys, right? Like a lot of our egos are in place and stuff like that. We think we want, our woman not to have ever had one or have a desire to have one. And sometimes it's probably better that she got that out of her system, and that's not something that, let's say you marry her at 19, 20 or whatever, and then she gets 30 and then she's like, I ain't never did that, now all of a sudden she has these desires. So um, what do you think about that idea of, of going out and doing a lot of experimentation, seeing what you like, what you don't like? How natural do you feel like that is?
No, I think it's very important. And, you can do that alone. You can do that with a
Mm.
partner. You can get married at 19, 20 and have a partner where the two of you are about that together, whatever that looks like for the two of you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for some people, it looks like swingers clubs and BDSM and meeting a different person every night. For some people, it looks like, bondage and choking and they're just really happy with that. And that's it. But whatever it is that people do, there should be some sex is meant for experimentation. There's so much
Yeah.
that can be done with it. It's not just, missionary, or woman on top. I mean, there's so much nuance in between all of that that doesn't even require penetration. Where I think that there's a lot that people can learn about themselves and their partners from experimenting in any way
Mhm.
that works for them, whether it's, sleeping with a bunch of people or just trying out different toys.
Hmm.
Amen to toys. What's your fate? Look, while we're talking about toys,
Yes.
let the church say amen. What are your favorite recommendations for the beginners?
Oh, so here's the funny thing. I was never really into toys
Me neither,
until
girl.
yeah, until recently. So I became a bedroom candy consultant, and I have not been advertising it, talking about it much, but I am one. And so I've been trying out their toys. And then prior to that, I spoke at an event and was gifted a toy, which I find amazing. I don't even know what it's called. But
Girl, I'm
I,
gonna
I
need you to give me all the details, okay?
two of my favorite toys to use though. There's one. I'm trying to think in my toy drawer. Hold on a second, because my toy drawer is right. It's right here. Hold on.
Holding, look, holding. We
Yeah.
we interrupt we interrupt this program for a small like commercial break.
Hey, what's up, Ronald,
I
in the
just
chat?
recently had to charge everything because I wanted to use a toy and it's not working.
Oh,
Girl,
Um,
man.
that's the worst. That's the
yes,
worst.
So this
That
one,
should be a Southwest commercial. Want to get
this
away?
one is one that someone recommended, and I see it's called Tracy's dog. And I'm sorry for people. I know I said I was bedroom candy, but look, a good toy is a good toy. But this one is amazing. It's like the clitoris goes right here, and then this slides inside. It's got ridges, hits the G spot. This to me is the toy that you use when you just don't want to take a lot of time. Like you just really want to get in it for like a whole 2 minutes and be done. Because this is
Okay.
you don't last long. You don't
Okay.
last long with this one.
And it's
Uh,
Tracy's dog.
Tracy's dog. Somebody posted it and they posted some review, and I sure did run to Amazon to look and see what this was about. And yes, it's very popular.
And shout out to
Okay.
Amazon. Amazon, you get
Man,
anything on
listen.
If
Amazon.
you get anything for Amazon, okay, let me tell you. You can get a kidney if you need to. Okay.
Prob- Probably, man. Probably. You could probably
Don't
get
say
a
don't you didn't hear that
wife.
from me. I'm just telling you what you can get from Amazon.
You probably get order a wife on Amazon.
Look, Amazon don't come for me, but I'm just saying you can find everything on Amazon.
I remember when COVID first broke out, the Amazon workers were saying they were like, why are we packaging these toys during the pandemic? I was like, oh, that's
Listen.
the perfect time. you know.
We can't get to their real live ones, so all of a sudden it was like,
Man, and it's
Mm,
safer. You ain't got to worry
yeah,
about getting no COVID.
that's right.
hilarious. Um, it's funny too. A lot of guys are a little intimidated by when their woman has a toy or whatnot. What do you think that's about? I never got with that whole thing about what guys feel some kind of way.
Yeah, I think it's a fear of another penis.
Mm,
Like
Yeah.
like the toy is gonna do something better, and it's just different. It's just a different feeling. It's a different way of doing things. There's no competition. I mean, a battery operated toy can't compete with skin to skin and somebody whispering in your ear, you
Mm,
know. And there's no reason to be intimidated by that whatsoever, and there's no reason for a man to want to compete with something that's battery operated.
right.
that might be for fun though, a competition to see who gets the job done first. You
Well,
know.
Bruh.
you can use them
It's not even
together.
about that sometimes.
Use them both at the same time, and that's part of that experimentation and
That
enhance all.
part.
Yeah, that might be funny. That might be a little funny, fun and games. Um, okay, so one thing one thing that you do that I think is quite interesting is that you also help people who need sexual help, which can come in
Mm.
many forms, right? So, what are some of the reasons why an individual or a couple may want to reach out to you?
Mm. Um, so most women, it is they want to feel freer in the bedroom,
Mhm.
and they want to feel freer in their lives. Period. They've been, playing whatever the role that they've been playing of being the good girl, and they're wanting to explore this other side of them and deal with the fear that comes along with that. So that's usually what most women, those two pieces, they come to me for. I've had men come to me that are just looking to learn how to communicate with women better, because it's not easy understanding women sometimes clearly, right? Mars Venus.
Right,
Uh,
right.
and
Mhm.
so just wanting to understand how to relate to women better, and so they come to me to ask me those types of questions, and couples wanting to spice things up and see how they can have more sex, incorporate more sex in their lives, and what can they do to make it, more pleasurable for both of them.
Okay.
Mhm. Now, I have a question though. Going back, in the incorporation of toys and not seeing it as a competition, what
Yes.
about those who have used toys more than they've used men or
Mm.
partners, and find it hard to get out of their own heads and have a romantic encounter with their partner and actually come to arousal or excitement or even an orgasm in the moments there that follow? What do you suggest for them in your maybe counseling or unpacking of, because you toys aren't they don't necessarily make you less or more free, but they do have a enabling, if you will.
Hmm. They do. So, I remember one client in particular who was very fond of her toys, and so my suggestion to her was to stop using them. Period.
Amen.
Just give it a break, because I think what happens for a lot of women is that the toy becomes a crutch and an excuse not to connect,
Yeah.
uh, emotionally or physically. You know, especially if you were hurt by a man. You know, you just figure it's like how I hear women say, "That's all right. I don't need anybody. I got Jesus." You know, it's like it's all right. I don't need anybody. I got my toy. You know, and again,
Jesus.
it's not a substitute. It's not, the toy cannot provide you with intimacy. So if you're
Mm.
somebody who's perfectly happy being single, I mean, because there are people who are like, I really like healthy people, not like I'm
Oh
avoiding a
yeah.
relationship, right? Go for it. That's not most people, because that's just not the human. That's not the human way.
Hmm.
And so, if you're a woman who's using a toy and you're finding that you're not connecting with men, and you're seeing all the bad and all the red flags before a flag was
Hmm.
even waved, yeah, come see me. A and B, stop using the toy for a little while. Be hungry for dick.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you now, that's a whole ministry right there.
Yes,
Be
it is.
hungry for it. Okay.
Hungry for dick.
Put that on a
Yeah,
t-shirt, somebody.
I was just thinking that.
hilarious.
Put it on a
Yeah,
shirt.
I love it. I love it. Um, Going back to the of you, helping people. Let's talk about couples.
Mhm.
If you characterize your sex life with your mate as being very satisfactory, is there still a reason to seek your services?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's always room to grow and learn and explore. So absolutely. I don't like to I'm not one of those pain point people. You know, there are people who are like, it's almost like a commercial for medication. You know, are you suffering in the bedroom? Does your spouse not touch you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want
Hey
that.
now.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, I don't want you to necessarily come to me because there's a problem.
Mm,
I want you to also come to me because you're like, hey, things are going well, but we'd like to learn more about something that we just don't
Hmm.
know about.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I know I don't, I don't want you to tell too much of what you do, but kind of give an idea of, so say me and my lady decide to go see you, like what would that process be like?
Well, it would be via Zoom,
Mhm.
and not because of COVID. It's just that it's easier to have clients from all over the place that way.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it would be via Zoom, and with couples in particular, I like to have sessions together where both of them are speaking, and then also separate.
Okay.
Right? Just so each of you can, discuss what it is that you need to discuss. I often give play work. So there was one couple I remember working with. Well, I would give each of them an assignment, but not, they wouldn't necessarily know what the assignment was. Like the other wouldn't know what the assignment was.
Hmm.
Just to add some spice to it. There are times when I've coached women where their husbands got involved in the coaching, and I was like, yeah, he can be here for the call. Like that's not a, that's completely up to you. I'm not like, I'm not a therapist, right? And it's not like, no, the session is only for you. They can't be in the room.
Right.
And so he's been in the room learning, and I've actually sometimes asked him questions, even if she was the one who signed up, because it's always beneficial to be in communication. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
a lot of fun to give them activities to do for each other and to take them out of their comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
That's really the goal. Take you out of your comfort zone and see what happens.
Oh, okay. I really feel like in the last 10 years or so, the idea of getting a life coach or getting some sort of therapeutic help, it seems like it's lesser a big deal than it once was.
Hmm.
Um, and specifically with men, I think women were always a little more. Um, in that mindset of that could be beneficial. And I think men have gotten to a point. I mean, there's still, I'm sure, a lot growing that us guys need to get to. But do you see that as something that people seem to be more open to it, men specifically?
Mhm.
Uh, a little bit more. A
Hmm.
little bit more. I see that men are open to learning, but
Mhm.
it feels like there's still this, I don't know how to approach it type
Oh,
Mm.
of,
like it's taboo.
yeah, yeah, like do I sign up for something? Do I ask questions? And it feels like there's this question, and I'm not a man, so the men who are watching can answer this, but it feels like there's a little fight with the ego about whether one should or shouldn't.
Mhm.
And I always, I mean, while I'm here to assist men in understanding women. That's my role. But for
So
men, I also think that it's important for them to seek that type of guidance from men in learning how to work with their own masculinity and their own energy. Like I can't teach or show a man how to show up in the world as a man, but what I can do is work with you. You tell me what's going on with the women in your life or how you approach women, and I can help you from a woman's perspective to translate some of that, because there may be things that happen that you just didn't understand what it was.
mhm.
So that's what I can do. But I always suggest that men reach out to men to really get grounded in who they are.
Due to COVID, have you seen your business um, take a dive? I'm not a dive, but take a hit, or has it gone up? Like, what do you, or the same?
No, I've actually made a little bit more this year than I did last year.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's wonderful. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually I'll finish out this year having made more. And that's always my goal. It's like, did I
Yeah.
make at least the same or more?
Mhm.
Because it's a process. Um, so no, I haven't seen it. In fact, a lot of people in my field, I think what this pandemic did was created a vat of silence,
Mm.
Mhm.
and all the noise and the chatter stopped.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's a movie like that. I can't remember which movie it was, but it's like people like woke up for a minute, like, what's going on? And it was like, oh, I think that there's some things going on with me, and maybe I should take some time to examine what that is. So
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people in these other different industries actually thrive on this, because folks were like, I have time. That
Yeah.
should work with me.
Interesting. I know. I know. At one point, you used to have this the was it yoni and the lingam massage as part of your
Yeah, I
thing?
do. I still have. I haven't done those classes in a while, and someone asked me about them, and I do plan on doing them again. But yes, yoni and lingam massage classes, because I think that that's really important.
So
Oral
you
sex and as well.
Oh wow, I don't remember that one. So you are training women to to be better at oral sex.
Well, giving them some tips and techniques. Yeah, I've learned some things. So
All right.
I feel it's only right to share with women who may not know. Right? I don't assume that I'm the only one who knows. There are tons of
Right.
women out here teaching these classes as girls trip shows. But yeah, I try to impart what I know, but it's not from the, I think for me, and I'm not the only one who does it this way, but I think for me it's not so much about like the technique of it, because most men don't care about the technique.
At all.
They don't care about a grapefruit. They don't care about any of that. They want to know that you want to do it.
That's
Amen.
it. That's
That's
it.
Hallelujah.
That
it.
was some full commitment.
That's right.
Yes.
So really, my classes, even because it's like you give them what they want, and then you show them what they need, is what they used to tell us when I was a trainer at Equinox, right? And so the classes, yes, we did go over some oral sex techniques for sure, But come on, I mean, you can only teach the corkscrew, but so many times. Really,
Mhm.
what I did a lot of in those classes was helping women to release their feeling around oral sex,
Mhm.
their shame of doing it because good girls don't do that, you know, or this idea that some women have had very negative experiences with that, with folks shoving their heads down, and
Mhm.
really working them through all of that and finding the joy and performing that act as opposed to making it a blow job, but really for them to see it as oral lovemaking and helping them
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
understand how important it was to men that they enjoyed it, because a lot of women didn't think that men cared. They didn't think
Yeah.
a man cared. Like, as long as it's wet and it's sloppy, he's gonna come. It's good. And yes, that's gonna happen. But
But
when he encounters a mouth that feels like it is devouring the meal that it has always wanted, that's a very
mhm.
for a man.
You know
Absolutely.
what? You know what? That's right.
Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. But that's interesting. You s- you say that some women have oral sex PTSD, I guess.
Yeah.
So, now I think about it, I think I've dealt with some that had, but
But it's
I
the
know.
culture, I think, Kente, that
Mm,
we grew up in. It wasn't that it's more of a it's the culture, the community, if you're religious based, depending on where that practice, because women weren't told to embrace their sexuality. Women weren't told to we're told to please the man. So when she made mention of missionary and being on top, then we're like women's only idea options. And it's like,
mm,
you weren't doing anything else. True ladies didn't go down on their men. Like they didn't do that. Like, and so being taught so many different ideas and then having to break those constructs. And like she said, having to truly be in a place where your pleasure gives me pleasure,
Mm.
that's not something that people were taught. I mean,
mhm.
the good Baptist preacher wasn't talking about this was okay. And so, and not that he has to, I'd be remiss, I want one of my people to come get me and whoop me. No intervention needed. But it's important to point out that in a safe space,
Mm.
th- there are things that occur in a safe space. And so a woman exploring herself and her partner, man, listen, you're about to make me make a couple of phone calls after this is over.
Hey,
Look,
Happy birthday, right?
birthday about to be
look,
birth.
listen,
Hilarious.
Linda. Okay.
Hilarious. Um, I think also communication is very important, especially when you first start out in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
to get an idea of what you like, what they like, and then there's something I always say is you have to create a space for people to tell you the truth, because we get
Oh
mad
yeah.
at people for not telling us the truth about a lot of things, but then you think about it, did you really create a space for people to feel comfortable to be ultimate really truthful to you? And I
That's
think in
it.
this sex, especially someone you really care about that you're having sex with, you want to make them feel like they can be 100%, um, you know uh, they can feel like they can come to you and tell you what they want. And I think the important thing is not, recoiling at what they may, something that may be something they really want to do or something. I'm not saying you have to do everything your mate wants to do, but I think, you know, you don't want to, gag, you know, if somebody, it depends on what they're talking about. But
Yeah. I
but
find that that's something that men say a lot, that they don't feel like they actually have a safe space to talk about the things that they want. Women make a lot of assumptions about what they think men want, and they think a lot of women don't really think that men have emotions, that men actually feel,
Mm-hmm.
and so they figure if it's dry or wet, if he's masturbating and it, just inner, then he's fine. But for a lot of men, for most men, sex is another form of connection, and men
Mm-hmm.
do feel deeply in that way, but they often don't feel like they can. talk about what it is that they might want in the bedroom, or like without their woman catching offense or feeling like, are you cheating on me? Are you trying to say I'm not doing something right? They take it personally.
Hmm.
Don't
So,
take it personal.
Now, one thing that you said on the last show, and I kind of want to just re-bring this up, is you talk about the idea of orgasms being healing, and you said a lot of very interesting things. For those who may not have seen that episode or heard you speak on it, can you just kind of talk to how good having an orgasm or can be healing?
let me see if I can condense this into a couple of sentences. Yes, the act of sex itself is healing. Not only is it healing from the standpoint of having orgasms, or at the very least, even if you don't have that climax at the end, feeling safe with someone, having
Hmm.
communication with someone, that part is healing. Having someone touching your body, releasing endorphins, releasing dopamine, releasing oxytocin is also healing.
Hmm.
When that stuff flows through our bodies, it actually lowers our cortisol levels, which lowers our stress levels. And especially for
Hmm.
brown people who are always, we don't even realize how stressed we are, being in that type of situation where we're feeling safe and having those types of feel good
Yeah.
hormones flow through us actually calms our nervous system down. Um, Sex there are pressure points in the vaginal canal. There are pressure points on the penis where, when they are touched, when they are activated, can heal other organs. This is Chinese medicine type of stuff, where you can actually start to heal organs. You can have emotional releases during sex. That
Hmm.
you don't realize what they can do if you are mapping or really taking your fingers and not just stabbing her, but really taking time to examine inside her vaginal canal. You can feel spots where it's tight. You can feel spots where she might feel some pain, and begin to massage that to loosen it up, because we as women will carry a lot of our stress and our trauma in our womb and our vaginal canal.
Interesting.
So
Come
when
on,
women
somebody.
huh
I said, come on, somebody.
So when women are crying during sex, it can be a huge emotional release for them of
Hmm.
letting go of a lot that they're carrying. And the same for men. Men tell me that their penis is not touched unless
Mm,
Mm.
it's going in the mouth to get them hard to have sex.
mm,
But it can be so healing for a man's ego and for his manhood to not just be valued for the actual hard dick that he has, but to really see that as an extension of who he is, and to honor it in a way that can help piece him together and connect that part of himself to his heart, which actually then will extend to the woman that he's with. So
But see,
sex can be
you're
all
talking
levels.
deeper levels. You're talking
Yes.
deeper
yeah,
levels.
I'm about to cut that part out. So I'm gonna be like, you heard what the doctor said.
Oh, you about to chop and screw it to make it applicable just for your needs?
It is.
I love it though. But she's right though. She's right. I'm like, say that again. But yeah,
But
no,
we aren't
but
living in that culture, Kente. People don't want to go deeper. People don't want to. I mean, and they say they do, but and
They do.
I was just having this conversation with my coach. People say they want something, but what they're really saying is, show me how to do it, so that I don't have to do the thought work, so that I don't have to do the healing, so that I don't have to do what it takes to get there. Like, and then what happens if that person dies or leaves or runs away or goes missing? You can't do it without them. You've got to do the work. And
mhm,
so being open to the thought work, to put in the actual work of knowing yourself, knowing the person that you're with, and acknowledging how they want to be loved, and then loving them that way
Mm,
it requires you to step outside of your comfort. It requires you to acknowledge that it's bigger and higher than yourself. Like a level of intimacy, most people are shallow minded. People
mhm,
want to go deep, because in it they feel like, oh my gosh, what if I drown? Hell, drown and learn how to float. Okay.
Mm,
Mm, mm-hmm.
mm. Where's the piano for the church? It's when you start
I'm
singing.
just see
Singing a
now
choir.
You know,
intimacy is my thing. Okay, honey. I might need to call you about some of the sex talk, but intimacy is my thing. If you can tap into your most intimate self,
Yes.
the sex part, like you say, you don't even have to have an orgasm to feel
Uh,
fulfilled. And I hear people say all the time, well, if you ain't having no orgasm, then what's the point? If you have a deeper sense of connection and intimacy with that person, just the sheer amount of time well spent and invested in the moment is beautiful.
got
Like
body going.
you,
just
you
like
know,
I'm just saying, like if 2020 ain't taught me nothing, it's to value the intimacy with people.
Yes.
a lack of intimacy, a lack of sexual release, definitely can lead to a lot of different things. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked
Workplace
on.
violence.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. That's exactly where I was going with it. You could be working on a job and your supervisor, he or she hasn't been laid in a while, and they just a bear. You know what I mean? And you almost want to send somebody to them just to chill them out. And then you got all these guys, these incel guys who are all pent up. They, not only are they not, because some, they may be with prostitutes or whatever, but not
Mhm.
having really intimacy is a big thing. I mean, when someone's looking at their watch the whole time they're having sex with you, I don't know if they may help you on one end, but not totally. People need intimacy as well, and
Mm.
so what happens is, there's this thing where people, who it's one thing like if you are not having sex or withholding sex for you, but like on a spiritual level, right? It's something that you're trying to accomplish or do. That's different. But when you are just deprived of intimacy or sexual contact, and it ain't necessarily something you're setting out to be, that can really affect you as a person. I want you to speak on that people who are intimacy deprived, or, um, like some of the effects, the negative effects that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes back to the using the toy too much. Like,
Mm, right.
I mean, some women just need to just they just need to go have sex first of all, right? Just
Mhm.
on the woman's side, and for men too. But I think for men it's a different release. Like men having sex doesn't release that for them, right? And for men
Mhm.
that and women there is a need for the intimacy part. It just oftentimes shows up a little bit differently for both of us,
Yeah.
and what we need, but both need it. Otherwise, yeah, people get cranky, they get bitchy, they get mean, they get rude, and they don't even realize that's the reason why they're like that is because they haven't been touched.
Yeah.
It's not so much the sex.
That
It's,
part.
you need what 8 to 12 hugs a day
Mm,
to keep your brain sane. This is why
Mhm.
like solitary confinement in prison cannot ever rehab a person because the
Amen.
system is not built for rehabilitation, it's built for punishment. So let's just be honest about that. You want to rehabilitate somebody, give them some intimacy,
Right.
give them hug therapy. Let somebody hold them and rock with them because they never experienced that as a child because somebody was saying, "Get off my lap, get away from me." Like
mm,
you got to take them back to that and start showing them how to fill up their cup with that type of love. So without the intimacy, we lose some of our humanness, we lose our empathy and our
Yeah.
ability to really feel another human being. And we start to build up these hard walls around ourselves. And then we have a huge fear, like Shannon was alluding to this earlier when we are talking about communication. We become so afraid of being vulnerable that we won't allow anyone into our space. And then even if we're having sex, it's like she said, it's a surface thing.
mm,
Yeah.
It's literally you just masturbating with each other, but there's no depth to it.
Come on now.
mm. What about when a couple are not sexually equally yoked, meaning that maybe one person has very little experience, or and the other person has had a mountains of experience. How do you how do you get that to work when it could be either way, the man or the woman? How do you get that to work where where one partner is more, I don't want to say, I guess, sexually more advanced than the other? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that that's as much an issue
It
as
isn't.
one partner wants sex more often than the other,
Hmm.
That part.
because one person having more experience just means that the two of them can still learn things together, because I
Absolutely.
still have to learn my partner's body. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the same as every other man, and
Amen.
still has to learn my body because it's not the same as every other woman. So
Yep.
there's still a learning curve to be had, no matter how many folks you've been with.
Hmm.
But when people get together and one person can have sex daily
Hmm.
and another person can have sex twice a month,
Hmm.
and then they still get married, now I'm looking at y'all like, what conversations were you not having dates 1 through 5?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
People look at me crazy when I say dates 1 through 5. You need to be talking about, if you're trying to get married, right? You need to be talking about marriage, sex, and money
Yep.
up front. Like, like, why are you waiting until y'all been together 6 months and now you're like, but I've invested so much time. I gotta make this work now. No, no, I
That's your
need
fault. Sucks to be you because you shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, no, I need to know up front, because if you're not the one, you're not the one. But I'm not going to try to make you, first of all, I'm polyamorous, and we can have a whole talk about that. But I'm
Hmm.
not going to try to make you the one if we have a conversation and you're talking about, yeah, I could have sex 3 times a month. And I'm personally looking at you like, oh, that's not going to work for me. Like,
Yeah,
you're one of my lovers. It's still not going to work for me.
absolutely.
You
I need
know?
some.
Now, if they're having conversations, and I think that this is where you can't stress it enough. If they're having conversations about the intimacy
Yes.
and the art of showing up for each other, um, because again, sex and intimacy are not one and the same. And so, someone who needs to have sex 3 times a month, opposed to someone who feels like they need to be intimate daily, they can coexist, but that conversation needs to be expressed as to what does intimacy look like for me, or what does sex look like for me, because sex 3 times a month could be, oh, we can do all the kinky stuff 3 times a month, and then we can save all the other stuff that they don't even consider sex because it's missionary. It's what everybody's doing. Or it's just oral because then it's not really penetration at all, so I'm being wholesome opposed to wholesome adjacent. Those kind of conversations that people aren't risking themselves to have. It's like, have the conversations so
Yeah.
that you don't create these marriages that are loveless,
Yeah.
or devoid of any type of intimacy, and then you're broken, divorcing, going out and not doing the work, because again, nobody wants to do the work, so you're not healing, and then you're going out breaking other people who didn't do anything to you, didn't
That part.
cause this brokenness, and then we wonder why we can't love each other properly. Broken crayons still color, but it's best that you at
Woo.
least do the work.
Mm.
So
Mm.
all of that, and we're done.
I mean, look,
Wow.
end
Ain't
scene.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
See, I got some wisdom today before my birthday. Kente.
I
Because
see
I
it.
mean, because all that is important, and people don't realize that you can be intimate with your partners in ways other than penetration. And like you said,
Hmm.
they don't even they don't talk about it until it becomes a problem, and
Yeah,
then a lot of blame that ends up coming out in anger. But they don't talk
yeah,
about it, you know?
yeah. And see, I like to, and not necessarily poke the bear, because sometimes I like to believe that I'm the bear, but I like to ask those hard questions at the very beginning, like, not even just about BDSM, but about people's hard limits and, sexual proclivities, or what they do like or don't like, or how well do they know themselves. Because again, I'm from I guess a late bloomer culture where there were a lot of things that I didn't do growing up. I've never watched porn to this day. Like,
Oh,
and so it's not that I've been interested in because I haven't.
yeah.
Me and my cousin were at the Museum of Sex and walked in the room where they were showing porn, and I'm over here like, I can't. I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. And she filmed me doing this, laughed her butt off. But I was like, yo, that's just not my thing. I already
Yeah.
have an addictive personality and I don't need to be addicted to porn. And so I know that about me. But
Yeah.
why not have those conversations with the people that you're going to be intimate with or engage in sexual activity with? Because some people's kinks are actually just their crutch. And
Yes.
so for some people porn is just as much as a crutch for a man as it as toys are for a woman. But if
Yes.
we aren't having those conversations, but those things always find themselves into the bedroom or into our intimate times, and it takes away from us being intimate with each other, those are big problems
Yes,
There,
they are.
and they
there,
need to be unpacked.
there's a comedian named Bobby Lee, a Korean comedian, and he said that he had he was impotent for a while,
Mm.
Mm,
and there was no health reason. And then he found out he went to see somebody, and they said it was because he was addicted to porn. And
desensitized.
he said the professional said if you cut it out, you will no longer be impotent. And he stopped watching it cold turkey, and his impotency went away. So that's something that can happen as well. That people don't realize. So not to knock porn if you like if that's your thing, but
Knock, knock, knock. I'm knocking. I'm knocking
Yeah.
porn on this land.
not that
Look,
hilarious.
your business. That ain't my. That is not the business that pays me. So, as you were.
Hilarious. Now, I want to give your website a shout out, sensualenergyalchemy.com.
Yeah.
And
Whoop, whoop.
and also you have a great YouTube channel. I put both of those links in there.
Oh, thank you. I think I'm
And
trying to boost my subscribers to 1,000 so I can go live on my phone.
see, I
All
love
right
that.
The
now.
little things.
I love that.
All right now.
And you guys need to definitely subscribe to her channel. It's a great channel. She has great videos. She posts daily content, and it's always very good stuff, great topics and stuff. And I was really checking out your content. I was talking about this earlier before we got came on, and your content is so good and uplifting, and you have a great way of communicating that I think is fabulous. And it seems like you come where everybody's at, like which you're a sexual energy, some sort of sensual energy alchemist, so that could be intimidating to some folks, but you come like you're just Maisha from New York, from
That's
Manhattan,
kindergarten.
Brooklyn,
Kindergarten teacher.
so I love that about your content. So just kind of give us an overview of what they can get as far as your YouTube content.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So my YouTube content is generally a derivative of my Facebook lives. So I go live on Facebook
Mhm.
every day, partly because one of my teachers had us doing 100 days of live streams.
Mhm.
And so I started with the 40-day prosperity plan. And after that, I was like, well, I'm just going to continue. And I've been banned from Facebook all summer. So yeah, so it was nice to get back on and just do these videos. And once I hit 100, I might still get on live every day, and I just allow whatever needs to come through me.
Mm-hmm.
I put those on YouTube. And the other place where I'm very active is on Instagram, which is definitely more of my sensual side. And I will, those are my pictures. Those are, sensual videos of me dancing and doing other things. It's always with a message for me. There's a fine line between when people do like things gratuitously
Mhm.
and when people do things for their art. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really don't ever post anything like that unless I feel it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I have to feel it. Like, I'm not going to be like, ooh, let me post my ass today so I can get 400 likes. It's
Right.
like, I feel like this is attached to something that needs to come out. And so here are the words that go along with the visual. You know,
Right.
so it's kind of like I do it from a couple of different angles. That wasn't necessarily on purpose. It really wasn't. It just worked out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you'll hear more of the talk and a spiritual grounding and empowerment on my Facebook lives because it's Facebook. And then you'll see more of the sex talk and that type of empowerment over on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram.
And every once in a while, that ass does need to come out. So,
It does. And I
I,
like that. I like that because I am a firm believer in nudity.
I am a firm believer in other people's nudity for sure.
Yeah,
Man, I am here for the nakedness.
Me
Show
yeah.
up,
too.
somebody. Look,
Me
take them
too.
clothes off.
Release the
Uh,
shame of
uh,
the body. It's just it's
Remember, was it Goddess Charmaine? She had the
yes.
naked church. Yeah, it was in New York too, right?
Yeah, I went to one of her services. It was beautiful. It was
Oh
my first
wow.
time doing a holy body puja where I was you just knew people I'd never met before.
Oh
And
wow.
you learn to have such reverence just for the human form and
Yeah.
for the understanding that this form houses a piece of the divine.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you think of it that way, how could there ever be anything filthy or dirty or disgusting, about that? So I'm really about trying to, change people's minds a little bit, but I like to have fun with it. I love to have fun with it, make it a little naughty
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. So we also have um, you have a podcast as well. How's that going?
No. It's I'm starting it up again. Right, y'all know it's. I'm starting it up again in January.
Okay.
And my first guests are probably going to be. I'm a part of a swingers group because I support the lifestyle. I'm not an active swinger, but I thoroughly support what they do, and it's also a little bit of a mix of BDSM and kink, and I am a BDSM kinker person. So I'm going to have them on probably as my first guest and really talk about the lifestyle and the misconceptions that people have of
Hmm.
it and what folks think about it.
Mm.
So
Dope, dope.
January 2021.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So yeah, I really love to see what you've been doing. Huge fan of yours. Um, are you gonna write a book?
Why does everyone keep saying that to me?
You
Why
really
not? It's
should.
confirmation.
You
It
really
is.
should. Yeah,
It's
you
like
definitely
in like
should.
the past 2-3 years. That is now it's the ninth or 10th time I've heard that, and I'm always like, do I look like a writer? And this like, well, yeah, it seems like you have a story to tell, and I'm like, okay, so I don't know when the book is coming, but apparently it is because
Look,
people asking
I've
me like it's
I've
coming.
been writing a book. If I can do it, anybody can. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
I
There
know
was,
I know some real bozos who's written books.
yeah.
So that were pretty good. So and I know yours will be amazing. So
Thank you. I
yeah, you got to. You
change the
got to.
names to protect the guilty.
Yeah, you got to write a book about you really need to do that's funny. You need you need to write a book, especially to get some of your philosophies out and to because like I said, you're a great communicator, and
Mm-hmm.
and a book would allow you to communicate. That's one thing that's so been freeing about myself writing a book is you can just you can really communicate your thoughts in a way that probably in a lot of other forums you can't.
Mm.
So I think you'd be great, and then I'm sure your audiobook with you doing it would be amazing as well. So
That I
you
would
know,
love to do. I love using my voice. We are, and I used to like. I don't believe in being humble, so because I don't think that that's well. And when I looked up the definition, I was like, no, I don't think so. But I realized that one of my gifts is my voice.
mhm.
Why ever that is, however that is, I don't know. But I love the sound of it seems to do something. So I would love to just read somebody's book. Like I would read anybody's book, and I would be happy to do that.
Oh,
You
okay, all right.
That's dope.
read your book, Kinte. I'll just read it, on the microphone.
Man,
Yeah,
listen. You might
I'll be
be
down.
like we might have to have some conversations about that later on.
I love it. I love it. You got some poetry,
I
Shannon. That's
do.
for adult ears.
I
Oh,
do.
I love that. Somebody wrote a song that he sent it to me, and I thought it was beautiful, and I was like, just record this? This is on Facebook. So I read it, in my voice, and he was just like, so I love that. I was hired as a phone sex operator when I was 19. I didn't take the job though, because
Oh,
there's no way I could have told my father that that's what I was doing, and there was no way I was going to lie to my daddy
right, right.
and tell
I'd
him,
be
oh,
like, I'm answering phone calls.
yeah, I'm at a call
Yeah,
center.
customer service.
Yeah, so I ended up working as a cashier at Barnes and Noble.
Man, you missed out on an opportunity, man.
Listen,
Hilarious.
now I would do that without any thought, but now I just don't. It's too much work.
Mm.
It's too much work.
Uh, oh, wow, that's awesome.
Man,
Shannon, have you ever thought about writing a book of erotic poetry?
I have books of erotic poetry.
Come on.
Wait a minute. How do I not know about that?
I mean, I don't. I guess the innuendos are in place for people who want to read outside of adults, but I mean, if you put two and two together, it's gonna be four.
I want to read. I want to read. I like erotic poetry.
Like,
Yeah,
and there's stuff in there. I mean, even in my first book, Naked,
that's true. That is the
there's
name of
stuff
it.
in there that's, and I mean, I guess you could say inappropriate to minor's eyes.
Mm.
Um, but it doesn't just outright say words or things that are like, oh my gosh. You have to read in between the lines.
Okay. All right,
That's
birthday
the
girl.
best type though, because you got to like when it's like sometimes when it's just like flat out,
Mm-hmm.
being said, it doesn't leave much to the imagination. But when you start using other metaphors and the similes to describe things, it's like it hits different. So sometimes that's a lot more fun to read than just in your face.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
So
where can you
continue.
purchase the book?
All of my books can be purchased on Amazon. Um, Amazon has everything.
It does.
It does. Yeah. Even Shannon's collection of Shannon's works. And
It's true.
this year's almost over, so that means in 2021 we're getting closer and closer to the release of not just one offering from Shannon, but two.
Ooh, that's
Yes,
correct.
and she's granted me the exclusive interview about the first and the second book. So
Nice.
Okay.
yeah, so I can't wait for that. So,
Excellent.
but yeah, Maisha, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you, Maisha.
You are a remarkable human being, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to meet you. And how can people get you on social media and all that good stuff? And what can we be expect from you coming up next?
Yeah, so and thank you both, Kinta and Shannon, for having me on again.
Oh, our
I
pleasure.
love the fun conversation. I'm Sensual Energy Alchemy everywhere, or Devi Maisha, one of the two. You will find me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm even on TikTok.
Oh
'Cause
wow.
I like the dances. So you can find me there. And what's coming up next is starting next week. I will begin taking applications for uh, a rites of passage. It's not a program. It's a really a rites of passage. It's an experience, and it's called Vixen.
Mm,
Mm,
And it is for women, and it is to take them into their kinkiest, darkest places that are within them, and to shed light on that and learn how to incorporate the power and the pleasure of those places into their lives.
man, let me sign up.
I know. Wow. I
So
dang,
that's basically what it is, and it begins late January, early February. So I'll begin screening women for it next week.
wow, man, that sounds pretty cool. Wow. I would love, hopefully, at some point, when that experience is over, that you'll talk about it, as much as you can. But
Absolutely.
that sounds really cool. Yeah, you always got something really cool going on. I
Yeah,
really
that's
like that.
dope.
Yeah, that is dope.
Oh,
That's
the
so
only
dope.
other thing that I have is the Central Energy Coven, which I always forget to talk about. It's my membership group for women,
mm,
and it's not on Facebook, it's not on Instagram, it's on Mighty Networks,
mm.
and so I house that over there. So any women who are interested in joining the coven, where you can kind of talk to me, work with me, ask me questions, and I post things there. Just hit me up because I do screen those women as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool.
So birthday girl, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Nothing's really changed about me. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Shannon Ford, like the president. Hyphen Jefferson, like the president. Still doing a set apart woman on Fridays at 10 a.m. with Tracy J. Actually, Tracy and I will be together this upcoming Friday for our show, so you can catch us also from StreamYard. And I do a minute blurb every day on Facebook. Kind of went into 60 days about voting, and then I just kept going. So, now I just talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
Uh, well, Shannon, we love you, and
Thank you.
I
Are
would
you
sing.
not your mama?
I am. Wait, let me tell you, I have like 7 pages on Instagram, you guys. So
Oh,
I'm not your mama. Salty, savory, spicy, sweet. Set apart woman. Shan for Jeff. Oh, the shenanigans. One of one car boutique, and the Saints and the Aints.
Dang,
I
that's a
think that's
lot.
all my
trying to
pages.
find an account to follow you on because I realize I haven't followed you. I'm just like,
Shan for Jeff 82 is my main page.
look at that. That's all right. I got
That's
like
the one
Well,
I post on to Facebook also. So, and
well,
it's the one
well,
I'm actively on. The other ones I'm trying to get the post that's supposed to go there. So, but
yeah,
anywho, sorry, Kente, you were saying.
I was saying that we all love you, and of course I do. And because I love you, Shannon, I'm not going to sing right now because I don't want to ruin your ears. So, but
I
just
mean, you could
believe.
burn up my Cash App though.
You got a cash app? Okay, all
I
right,
do. She, me,
birthday
her, 82.
to
okay. You said you have the cash app, not the OnlyFans.
I don't know. I mean, if I had an OnlyFans, y'all wouldn't even know it. I ain't telling y'all my business.
Well, you got to get subscribers though.
Man, listen. It might just need to be a show for one.
Oh, wow. Okay, I hear that. Well, you can get me at Kente F on Twitter, at Kente Ferguson on Instagram. Of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's INDY radio.org. We'll be back next week with a new episode. I know I promised you guys the game show. It's a lot more work than I anticipated,
Hmm.
it'll probably be early January type thing. But I just want to say that thank you all who have listened. You guys have a great rest of your week, and God bless you.
Bye.